So before I get any questions relating the thing over here at the bottom, I decided to make a quick video about it. So this thing is actually something I made myself. It's an extra dashboard that allows me, well, it kind of helps me to aid me in my trading. So over here there is the account that's visible. This will say that I'm in live when I'm live, and it will show my balance over here as well. Then the economic calendar, and this is the default calendar for Investopedia, I think, or investing.com actually. And this will show the high volatile events on the day. So for example, this is at the moment in Dutch, and because that allows me to understand the actual events a bit better, because I do not know all the economic terms in English. But for example, the oil inventory is happening at 16:30 today. This thing will actually update itself when it's open, so I can just open that thing and then the number will pop up as soon as it's available. It's kind of neat though. Today at 14:15, the market opens at 15:30. So I'm gonna have a look at the 14:15 event, because apparently it has high volatility expected, so there could be a good breakout trade or something similar happening there. Then there are clocks at the top. The clocks will show certain events, like this is EU noon coming up. EU noon is there because sometimes, or quite often, the market turns when that time hits. The US Open is in there, the US close is in there, the futures close, the 15 minutes close for the futures, and the hourly close every day is there, so I don't go I don't keep my contracts when the market closes, because that's not a good idea when you have them in AMP. Then there is the 1 minute countdown, that's for the 1 minute candle, and there's a 5 minute countdown. The 5 minute countdown, in my experience, is quite important, because over here I've been looking at Nasdaq for quite some time, for months actually, and one thing I noticed, that every 5 minute candle is like a new battle. So as soon as the market sells off, it quite often happens at the start of a 5 minute candle. This is actually visible over here. The 5 minute candle starts and it drops instantly, and over here it went up like really small bits and then dropped down massively. So these 5 minutes are small events on itself, and the massive sell-offs, they start at the 5 minute timer in my experience. So I added that, and as soon as I'm in a trade, it actually warns me with a sound cue that the 5 minute switch is coming up. So then I have to be extra alert to keep my position in the right direction, for example. I can place orders from this thing as well. Let me show you what my keyboard looks like, because that's kind of neat. At the moment, the keyboard has some default colors, but as soon as I hold Shift, and you can also see it on the screen, there comes a green bar around the box on the left, but the keyboard is actually green as well. So then it allows me to buy these amount of contracts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can also sell them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I have an Alt key. When I hold that, I can move the stops that are in Sierra as well. So I can set them to break even when I hold Alt C. Alt X, that moves it down 1 tick, and Alt Z moves it down 10 ticks. It increases it 1 tick, and it decreases or increases it 10 ticks as well. So when I hold Shift and press 1,
filled.
It immediately gives me an order. So I'm now in with a market order, and that is actually the 5 minute queue that is coming up. So now the new 5 minute candle starts. This is actually how it looks, and when I move the stop, you can see I press a key now, Alt X and Alt V, you can see the stop is moving. And when I go in with an extra order, let me wait, let me see if it goes in here. So the stop is on a different place. So now I have two contracts. When I move it with Alt X, you can see both stops are moving together. So I don't have to manually drag them up and down. This allows me to be a bit quicker when setting stops or trailing them manually, because that's preferred, of course. We can also see what the order is actually doing at the moment over here. I'm half a tick up and half a tick down, so it's now kind of useless to trade, but for demonstration purposes. You can also see the tick over here. So the ticks are now -5 and -7, and I can move them. You can see that the numbers actually move as well, and this will also reflect on the chart like you just saw. I can see the size I'm in, the average price, how many ticks I'm up or down, the target. So the target in this case is 10 ticks. I can choose how much I want to set my bracket. Stop ticks is 7 in this case. And top percentage is how far from the top it went down already. So my profit is now at 100%. It has not been higher than that. So when you're trading your position, you can see like, well, I want to accept like an 80% maximum loss from my top when I have a runner, for example. So it will also show the actual profit and loss that I have at the moment. Okay, I can have multiple what do you have that? Nasdaq, Dow, and Russell. Those lines, by the way, they correspond with the correlation chart, which, let me drag that in real quick. There you go. So these lines, the colors correspond with this one. So whenever I see, for example, the Dow is lagging, when every market is going up except the Dow, I can just quickly see, okay, the orange line or the yellow line is lagging. Let me quickly open a trade window and place a trade. So I do not have to have Sierra chart open in that sense. I do not have to have a DOM open or a chart open from the down. I can just set the target ticks like so, quickly 5 stop ticks, and place an order, and it just automatically fills, and it does that on the background. However, I can see my position. So in this case I can have 5 positions at the same time. Alright, let me put this one back where it belongs. I can close these windows pretty easily. I can also do that with my keyword. I can walk through them, and every time the whenever I hold shift now, it only works for the box that is selected. I can also drag them around, for example. Do it all the way. I also made a start for a trading ticket. This thing allows me to set a strategy. I go for a long in this case. Is the zone qualified, yes or no? And then I can select an entry qualifier. So in this case the market is bullish, and then when I hover over the image it shows me an example. So I choose bullish. There is the market leader is going up, and let me see, the footprint has some buy imbalances, and the inventory heat map has some bits moving higher as well. So I click on that. So now I have 4 qualifiers, and as soon as I hit a position, it will actually fill in the order type, and then it connects the ticket to the order. Of course, you have to have a look at the actual qualifier. This is the 5-minute warning, by the way.
Filled.
Alright, is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? What did it do, by the way? Oh, it moved to my profit target of 10 ticks. One contract did, the other one is still open. So I can also scratch them as we are going in the trade, and maybe the correlation chart, the market leader is not going up anymore. I scratched the actual qualifier, and when there is less than 2 up or 2 still qualified, then I could decide to actually scratch the trade or get out of the position. I can remove the ticket, or I can add some notes, and when the order is over I can close and save the ticket in the database from this system. So this actually allows me to set up my trading tickets. There's a pretty neat system behind it. As you can see, the trading tickets sticks to this object, and I can minimize it as well. So now it's at the back over here, lurking, and I can expand it again, and there it is. And I can also remove the ticket. Alright, so I'm still in a position with 2 ticks. I got a winner hitting the VWAP exactly when the new 5 minute candle started. At this moment I would scratch this trade, so I can just move my stop, I guess. When I do Alt-C, by the way, it moves the stop to 3 ticks above the current position to allow for some slippage. But in this case I just want to get out with a winner, I guess.
Filled.
Alright. So the last thing that is interesting is the statistics. The idea is that the AMP export feature allows me to get their trades, or my official trades, inside my statistics program. There are some statistics in here which are fake. This is mainly from demo trading. But I can select 2 months, click apply, and this allows me to see how many consecutive green days I have, what my trade accuracy is, what my P&L is, and it shows my daily gains and losses, and this is what it does in total. I can see on which day I traded the most volume, and the most trades I made. So when you trade future, that is pretty much close unless you trade with 10 contracts, which I do not do yet. Then we have nice statistics about the green days and the red days. Let me zoom in here. So I can see the total P&L on the green days, on the red days, and for all the days combined. I can see it for the day and time. So do I trade the most on Monday or on Wednesday? On what hour of the day I trade the most? This is the US Open, 15:30. On what month? This is only interesting when you have multiple years, of course. How my daily performance is. Do I suck the most at Wednesday or on other days? And what's performance. This is the close, by the way, in Holland for the US. So we can see our hourly performance or a monthly performance as well. Then we can see it by symbol. For futures, this is not really interesting. You can see the how it is divided per month. This is originated from trading stocks, so then this statistic is probably more interesting if you only trade ES, like the S&P. It's always the same, of course. All the trades are also combined, so you have the trade details, you can add a comment, and you can add an image as well. That sound, by the way, is an indication that there's 30 seconds left for EU noon. Back to the statistics. So I can write some comments as well. As you can see, there are actually 2 trades in one trade. I call going in the position and out the position actually one trade. So this is EU noon. It's hitting. so it is right now. So this will stay put at 30 seconds and then it will count down to the next event. Alright, so this is about it for the program. We can wait for the 30 seconds to see what the next event is. Every time I think about or I come across something that like, oh, I need to know that. For example, the quadruple witching day, it's included in the system. It actually shows me what the US Open, by the way, is the new event. It shows me that the quadruple witching day is happening this day. There's a calculation. There's a calculation in the system that shows me that. Also at the bottom, these contracts, they are now the U. These forward automatically as well, so I can always just click the buttons. I do not have to fill in them manually. I couldn't find a system for oil. Those contract dates are so random that I couldn't program it in, but I can actually enter them here, check the symbol if it is a valid one, and unload it here at the top, so I can actually trade it quite easily. Alright, so this is the program I use. I can add anything to it. The trading ticket is not completely finished yet. I would like to have some more qualifiers. The breakout only shows 2. For example, stuck long, stuck short. There is room for adding more qualifiers and adding images. Actually, I couldn't find those at the time of creating this. But it's actually pretty neat, and well, it's a complete thing that actually helps me to be awesome at trading.